Hi there. We're taking a break from the Agamemnon today. Today, I need a mob farm. And it's time I replaced this one with something better. Something more controllable. And something larger. And something that doesn't keep filling up all its storage with single armor and bows. And axes and pants. And of course it should be something that fits in with the concept of the steampunk fleet. And inspired by an old story I read by a man named Dickens, I've decided to base the concept off of the prison hulks of the 18th and early 19th century. You've probably also heard of kangaroo courts and the way that Australia was originally colonized. And as you may have guessed, Britain started housing their prisoners in ships. Honorable old warships that had served the empire so well became prisons. For decades. And not always just straight for transportation to a new world. Quite often, prisoners would serve their entire terms on board these ships in very small living spaces. It wasn't pleasant. So I've decided to base this concept off of that. Of course, it's still going to be an airship. I have not fully decided how I'm going to build it. I know I plan to have 3 or 4 decks. And I know one of them is going to be your basic mob farm. And a few of them are going to be mob spawners. Since the main reason I'm building this in this particular episode is because I have need of ender pearls. So with no further ado, Tempest Fugit. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Justicia. Once a proud but small fighting ship, and now simply reduced to a prison for the unworthiest of mobs. I named it that because that actually was the name used for a lot of the prison hulks under the British Empire. And the name itself actually has quite a bit of history as the Greek goddess of justice. You've seen those statues of blind justice with the blindfold and the scale and the sword. That's Justicia. And we have the outside finished. Pretty much. There will be other details to add later. Right now, though, I just want to take care of some lighting and then add a mob farm or two. Which means spawners. All right, we're pretty close. Just need to load this thing up with this stuff. I made a cactus farm. Small one. But I needed dyes. And Z-Logic controller. And powered spawner. Now we should have a broken spawner. Like this one. And then we can use the soul binder to bind this Enderman soul into the spawner. And apparently I'm low on experience. What can I do about that? Yeah, this ought to do it. Well, isn't that just amusing? But I think we just want one of these. But two of them won't really hurt. Well, this ought to get a few levels. I have to remind myself, you just don't spam the sword like you did in the older versions, which I'm still playing. Yeah, this may take a couple minutes. Alright, well there's 6 levels, so that's enough carnage. For now, anyway. Alright, so where was I? Oh, yeah. Soul binding. And broken Enderman spawner. And one other thing I need to do is provide power for it. And I'm thinking a simple windmill ought to do the job just fine. So I figure since we have an airship, the best way to power it would also look like a pretty good way to move it. Although this needs to be moved about 3 blocks out. All right then. All right, so we'll just stick a capacitor bank right here. And give it some wire connectors. And that's exactly where I want it. So we want this one to output and these two to input. All right, so we just plug it in here and here. And likewise on the other side. And I think that looks pretty nice. Doesn't generate a whole lot of power, but I don't think I need a whole lot of power, at least not at first. I'd love to set this thing in the floor, but I think that would actually have me spawning Endermen in the below decks, which would not be helpful. All right, so I'll stick this down here just so the wire will reach. I may regret using this kind of connection later, but I can change that if I do. Oh, but before we plug this in, I want to set this to be active with the redstone signal. And yeah, I want to take a look at this range too. Looks like it just fits. And I need something to grind with too. I could use spikes, or I could make a Killer Joe. But I think that will take more ender pearls too. So I think I'll just start off doing it manually. Which means I first want to roof over here, just in case they manage to teleport out of their enclosure. Okay, I've got this just about ready. And my planning skills are as good as ever. And I did make one little mistake. I made facades so that I could put this conduit through here and still have it match the floor. But then I went off and made the facades of spruce instead of birch. Still, it's not too bad. Kind of looks like I meant to do that. All right. Now all I need is a lever. And lever. Well, it certainly didn't take long to go through all that power. I am certainly going to have to improve these. But before I do that, I need to start growing industrial hemp again. And before I do that, I want to set up a new farm. That doesn't seem to be my problem right now anyway. My problem would appear to be that I don't have enough throughput on these low voltage wires. Later production is going to be my problem. But in the meanwhile, I think I need to make some medium voltage wires. or just string conduit straight over there. Well, I left the switch on while I wandered off, and I seem to have spawned my first victims. Well, I got a dimlet parcel, that's nice. And a loot bag. Oh, where have you gone? Well, I can see this is going to need some improvement. They've teleported above decks, I think. Or below decks. Fortunately, they don't seem to know how to use stairs. Well, the good news is I have my first Ender Pearls from the new Enderman spawner. But I clearly need to improve this process. So I'll be working on that behind the scenes. And let you know what I've come up with. So, there we have the beginnings of our new mob farm, the Justicia. An old small warship converted over to prisoner and mob use. And we'll be improving it later on. But next episode, I hope to either work on some rotors or possibly some farming. So come back next time to see what I come up with for a farming ship. Until then, have some fun, build something cool, and have a nice day.